It means a lot. It means that I worked hard for this.
When Ryan Carter was given this gold challenge coin after surviving basic training, he had no idea what serving his country would cost him and his family.
Very few get this coin, and you earn this coin.
Since graduation, he's earned way more than a token of respect. Carter gave more than a decade of service to the Air National Guard, including working on giant cargo planes big enough to carry tanks and troops into the air. But what happened in a Maryland military hospital in 2018 grounded him for life.
And the surgeon comes in, pulls me into a private room, and doesn't explain what happened, but just said something went wrong, and he's paralyzed.
A lot of therapy goes into that maneuver.
Ryan, a former staff sergeant, is now confined to a wheelchair, unable to use his legs after elective spine surgery to deal with chronic pain in his neck. He was paralyzed at Walter Reed, the military's premier hospital, when the procedure went tragically wrong.
It's like someone just, went in and cut my nerves and just said, good luck.
Attorney filings claim military doctors were negligent during Ryan's surgery, listing 22 specific failures from anesthesia to aftercare, breaching the standard of care, leaving him with a spinal cord injury that had him hospitalized for weeks, in rehabilitation away from home for years, and in need of 24-hour care for life, with his wife Casey acting as his caretaker and steadfast cheerleader, even when the weight of it all feels like too much to carry.
That's probably the toughest for me, is
seeing me going through a lot of pain.
when he's in that much pain, there's nothing I can do but him crying, because he's in so much pain. Yeah. And the moments, and I'm sorry, but the moments when he says, I don't think I can live like this much longer, it's too painful.
It's pain amplified by injustice that only applies to those in uniform. If Ryan was a civilian, he could fight in court for damages, alleging medical mistakes and taking his case to a judge and jury. But active duty service members can't sue the government for malpractice.
The courthouse doors are closed to military service members seeking justice and accountability.
Chris Cassiano, Carter's attorney, is trying to change that. He's fighting something called the Feres Doctrine, a decades-old court decision that effectively bans service members from filing malpractice lawsuits. Years ago, Congress tried a workaround, passing legislation that allows active-duty military to file malpractice claims. But that process is secretive, handled behind closed doors by the military itself, and without usual legal tools like witness testimony and discovery. The system has been plagued by denials and lengthy delays. Ryan Carter's claim has been sitting in limbo for 4 years.
We want accountability. We want justice. We want the ability to get answers to the questions that we have.
To get it all, Cassiano is now climbing the legal mountaintop, petitioning the Supreme Court to hear Ryan's case. More than 20 organizations representing military causes have filed briefs in support, along with several members of Congress.
When you think about the gravity of that, how do you feel about being the face of a case that you're trying to ask the highest court in the land to weigh in on what happened to you?
This is the position that the Lord put me into, and this is the position where this is, to me, my new mission.
We're doing what we're doing, not just for us, but for the bigger picture, for all the other service members that have come before them, that will come after them, right? And it deters, right, future bad actors, so that someone's going to think twice before, they rush into a procedure, or they don't get a good night's sleep, or they're trying to do something, cut a corner, because they know they're deterred from doing that because they know that there's ramifications for their actions.
The consequences of military medical mistakes and misconduct, if any, are currently kept confidential. Our national investigative team has spent years trying to crack the veil of secrecy that keeps service members and their families in the dark about actions taken against problem providers, even in cases involving injuries or deaths. Right now, when serious disciplinary action is taken by the military, it's reported to a confidential government data bank. that tracks things like license suspensions and malpractice payments. But service members, their families, and the public can't see who's been reported. And the military won't tell us either, despite numerous information requests and the threat of legal action from our team.
I think everybody deserves that information, that transparency, so that they can make an informed decision about their own health care.
Earlier this year, we got some information. Basic data from the Defense Health Agency, which oversees health care for members of the military and their families. It gave us an overview about discipline involving military providers in general, showing hundreds of reports to the data bank. We continue battling the DHA for more information. But in the meantime, our team tried a new approach, requesting specifics about the kinds of military providers reported to the data bank directly from the data bank itself. What we obtained shows more than 200 military doctors, nearly 170 nurses, and almost 400 other medical professionals like physicians' assistants and dentists have been reported for disciplinary action since 2018. In that same time frame, nearly 300 military providers were reported for malpractice payments. What does that say about the quality of military health care for spending that much money and reporting that many people?
This is obviously a big problem. It's a bigger problem than the attention that it's gotten in the news. These are people who are serving the country, but they've been wronged, and they deserve better than they're getting now.
Texas Congressman Joaquin Castro is trying another avenue to make things right for active duty service members. As the Carters lobby the Supreme Court, he's lobbying Congress, fighting for the HERO Act, which would allow active duty military to file lawsuits for malpractice, saying the current claims process is broken.
And so what we're trying to do with the HERO Act is pretty simple. We're trying to give military members the same rights that civilians have.
Rights including access to information about medical providers that civilians routinely get, from lawsuit filings and disciplinary actions made public by state boards across the nation. Are you surprised by the lack of transparency for these people and their families who are willing to put their lives on the line for us?
I'm surprised that our government would treat our military members this way, that there would be this level of secrecy, that there would be non-transparency. There really is no reason for that. Now, don't get me wrong. These are also military members who are generally honorable people who are often trying their best. But I'm uncomfortable with a situation where if a medical professional knows that there is basically no chance that there's going to be any consequences if they mess up, if they don't pay particular attention to a procedure that they're carrying out, there is a bad incentive for them then not to take the care that they should.
Care that can end up costing service members their lives, even their quality of life. It's a price paid by Ryan Carter and his wife, Casey.
Sometimes I feel guilty. I talk to a therapist for that once a week.
Feel like a burden?
Yeah, I feel like sometimes it is a big burden.
A burden that may turn out to be a blessing to other members of the military as Ryan continues his service to country, battling through his recovery and the courts.